No matter what happens out here, it'll all be your fault. Good luck.
I'm going to be honest with you. In the Outer Worlds, most people are either out to get you, want to use you for their own gain, or just don't give a damn about you. So you gotta look out for yourself, as well as the rest of your crew, who can join you on your adventures / legally questionable activities. Of course, you can always turn them down when these companions ask to step aboard your ship, but we'll chuck you a tip right here and now. Their firepower and perks outweigh any introvert's desire for peace and quiet. Just saying. The Outer Worlds takes you to the fringes of the galaxy where corporations rule. Profit comes first, no matter what. So, in these corporation-run colonies, humans are mere cogs in their machine. Not literally, although after seeing how ruthless Spacer's choice is, I wouldn't be surprised if they pioneered a suspiciously familiar, fleshy cog prototype. You're one colonist saved from cryogenic sleep by a fugitive scientist. Despite that act of heroism after you land on the first planet, it's up to you who you side with, even if that's just you looking out for number one. To help you survive in the corporation-ruled, chaotic, positively selfish galaxy of the Outer Worlds, here's 21 tips that'll prevent you from becoming Canid Chow in the Outer Worlds. You can be good, bad, or anything in between in the Outer Worlds, but we'd caution against being too cruel too quickly. Murdering faction members will affect your standing with that faction even if no one witnesses you doing it. So, even if you're someone who doesn't care about the crippling weight of everyone's opinion of you, number one, tell me how you do it, and number two, maybe take it easy with the bullets. Houses outside settlements are ripe for looting, so you can be sticky-fingered without any worry. But any items found inside buildings in settlements, even if you're on glowing terms with the faction in question, are normally owned, so be careful, as you're in danger of being caught stealing. You can still sell those stolen items to merchants though, so sometimes the risk is well worth the reward. But only in video games, not in real life. You hear me? I do not endorse stealing. As long as you're outside, you can fast travel whenever you want from the very start of the game, as long as you've already discovered the location. Plus, if you get the fast travel while encumbered perk, you're able to fast travel back to shops to sell all that loot that's weighing you down. That really comes in handy at the beginning of the game, when you're trying to get as many bits as possible to buy better gear. So, we'd recommend investing in that perk stat. Skills don't quite work as you'd expect in the Outer Worlds. Your skills, like Persuade, Medicine, Hack, etc., are sorted into broad categories: melee, ranged, defense, dialogue, stealth, tech, and leadership. When you level up, you can pick any number of these categories to spend your points in, which increases all the skills in that category. Then, when you reach level 50 in any of those skills, you switch to putting points in a specific skill instead of in a category. It allows you to roleplay a bit more later on in the game, and makes sure you have to think a bit more strategically about where to put those oh-so-valuable skill points. Speaking of skill points, for some of the less fighty ones— shut up, that's a real word— if you're stuck on which one to upgrade, look under their descriptions to see the specific bonuses you get. Here you can see how much your sneak attacks increase in damage per point, or how much healing you get from your inhaler if you increase your medicine skill. At later levels, looking at these stats helps you decide which skill you want to beef up. So, unlike me in maths class, make sure to pay attention to those numbers, friend. Companions level up a little bit like you. Every couple of levels you'll be able to assign them specific perks, plus you can also give them better weapons and armour. You'll find lots of armour and weapons on your travels, so it's worth constantly revisiting their inventory to make sure they're equipped with the second best items. Yeah, second best, because, come on, you're definitely giving yourself the best stuff, right? Don't worry if you feel like you've spent your skills and perks in error, as you can respec your skills on board your ship at the aptly named respec machine. You can find it in the cargo hold. Just head up the ladder and follow the walkway along to the end. The cost increases each time you use it, with the starting point being a reasonable 500 bits. Companions being a bit too gung-ho for your liking, you can alter the behaviours for each one in their menu, so you can make them fight the way you want them to. Just go to behaviours, then you can fiddle around with how close they follow you and how they attack, stuff like that. If only you could change people that easily in real life. If you're more sneaky than shooty, don't worry, there's usually multiple ways to avoid fights in the Outer Worlds. Look around when you're trying to get somewhere and you can find shortcuts, long grass to hide in, or even secret passages. All it takes is a bit of patience and some exploration, as well as a healthy sense of self-preservation. There aren't any lockpicking or hacking minigames in the Outer Worlds.
Easy.
Instead, you'll use mag picks and bypass shunts to break into terminals and locks. If you have enough of them, you can unlock any door or container with the mag picks, and any computer with the bypass
They can't keep
shunts.
us out.
As long as you meet the hack or lockpick skill requirement, all you have to do is hold down a button. Easy peasy.
Wish I could do that.
Tactical time dilation, otherwise known as TTD, drops faster the more bullets you fire, so take your time. Slowly sniping a weak point from afar is much more effective than being up close and just letting loose with a machine gun. Spray and pray is not the way to go in TTD. Robots, or mechanicals as they're known in the Outer Worlds, have small blue glowy weak points in the centre of their torso. Target them to do massive damage and go into tactical time dilation if you need an extra hand lining up the perfect shot. FYI, plasma weapons deal very little damage to mechanicals, but shock weapons deal huge amounts of hurt. Can't find a workbench? No problem. You can repair weapons and armour in your own inventory. The ability is slightly hidden, so just select the item you want to repair, then use the radial menu to repair the weapon. You will need to have the required number of weapon parts though. Get these by either scavenging them or breaking down weapons you don't need in your inventory. Weapons and armour can be modded, but each item has different types and amounts of mod slots. Weapons can have their magazine and sight modded, whereas armours have slots for armour plating, gadgets, skill checks and utility. It's always worth checking how many mods can go in each slot to make you the deadliest you can be. Your companions won't die, so don't worry when their health drops to 0. Just give them a moment and they'll be back on their feet before you know it. Plus, their health regenerates slowly on its own. Lucky for some. Companions' special moves aren't unlocked until you reach level 13. Then, in combat, press left or right on the D-pad while aiming at a target to trigger your buddy's powerful attack. There is a recharge time on these attacks, but pick the right perks and you can reduce it by quite a lot. Level up your ranged skills enough, and when you're scoping down weapons in tactical time dilation, you'll be able to read small bios of the enemy you're targeting. By your crosshair, small bits of text will pop up and tell you what your shot will do. Aim at the head and you'll blind them, or aim at limbs to stagger them, so you can make sure your bullets are always well spent. Travel during night and you'll find that wild animals will be asleep. Aww. That means you can sneak around them, saving you a fair few fights. Or you could be the worst alarm clock in the world and wake them up with some bullets. You do you. If in doubt, always use the dialogue option that uses a skill. Doing so can get you a big XP bonus. At later levels, I was getting a 500 XP boost for using my persuade skill in dialogue. Doing that in as many conversations as possible helps you level up a damn sight faster, and makes you feel like the silver-tongued devil you truly are. Try to shop with factions you have a good reputation with, as you'll get bigger discounts. You can see how much goods are discounted by at the top of the screen, and if you have a 30% off their products, it's well worth a longer trip to get to their vending machine. If you've got bits to spare, don't forget to tinker your weapons at workbenches. Tinkering adds a handful of points to their damage and only costs 100 or so bits to begin with. It might not sound like a lot, but it can help tip you over the edge if you're finding combat a little bit too tricky, or simply have bits burning a hole in your pocket. There you have it, 21 things to know when you're starting the Outer Worlds. If you liked the video, chuck it a like, and why not hit subscribe while you're at it? That's me trying to use my persuade skill. Tapping that bell icon will notify you when we have a new video out, and considering we upload a new one every single day, you'll never be short of something to watch. Have a ball in the Outer Worlds, friend, and go get yours.